I want to start by asking you something very gently. Have you ever opened your eyes in the middle of the night, checked the clock, and seen 3 a.m. staring back at you? Not once, not randomly, but again and again and again. And in that quiet moment when the house is still, your mind suddenly feels wide awake. Your heart feels slightly alert. Your body feels tired, but your brain won't settle. You're not panicking, but you're not resting either. And you wonder, why does this keep happening to me? Let me tell you something reassuring right away. You're not broken, you're not weak, and this is not just stress in the way people casually dismiss it. What you're experiencing has a real biological explanation, and once you understand it, you can begin to fix it calmly, safely, and naturally. I want you to imagine we're sitting together in a quiet clinic room. No rush, no judgment, just an honest conversation between a doctor and a patient, because that's how I want you to hear this. Now, when someone wakes up consistently around 3 a.m., the body is usually not failing, it's signaling. At that time of night, your body should be in its deepest repair mode. Blood sugar should be stable, stress hormones should be low, muscles should be relaxing, fat burning should be quietly happening in the background, sleep should feel heavy and protective. But for many people, something interrupts that rhythm. And most of the time, that something is cortisol. Cortisol is not a bad hormone. In fact, it's essential. It helps you wake up in the morning. It helps regulate blood sugar. It helps you respond to danger. Without cortisol, you couldn't survive. The problem is timing. Cortisol is meant to be high in the early morning around 6 to 8 a.m. and very low at night. But in many people today, that rhythm is flipped. So instead of cortisol gently rising in the morning, it spikes in the middle of the night. And when cortisol rises, your body thinks something needs attention. Your heart rate increases slightly. Your brain becomes alert. Your liver releases glucose into the bloodstream. And suddenly, sleep becomes shallow or disappears entirely. This is why you don't usually wake up feeling terrified. You wake up feeling alert but tired, calm but restless, exhausted but unable to fall back asleep. That's cortisol talking. Now let's pause here for a moment because this part matters. This is not happening because you're lazy. It's not happening because you lack discipline. And it's not happening because you just need to relax. It's happening because your nervous system has learned a pattern, and patterns can be retrained. One of the biggest misunderstandings I see is when people treat sleep as a separate issue from weight, belly fat, or metabolism. But in the body, these things are deeply connected. When cortisol is high at night, your body prioritizes survival, not fat loss. And fat, especially belly fat, is very sensitive to cortisol. Belly fat has more cortisol receptors than fat anywhere else in the body. That's not a coincidence, it's evolutionary protection. When cortisol stays elevated, your body holds on to abdominal fat as a reserve. It's not punishing you, it's trying to keep you safe. So if you're doing everything right, eating carefully, moving your body, trying to sleep, but your belly fat won't budge, this could be one of the missing pieces. Now I want to slow down here because this is an important truth. You cannot force your body into fat loss while it feels unsafe. No amount of willpower overrides biology. And the good news is you don't need to fight your body. You need to reassure it. Let's talk about why cortisol gets dysregulated in the first place. One of the most common causes is blood sugar instability. If you go to bed with low blood sugar, often from skipping dinner, eating too lightly, or having a very low carb evening, your body may drop glucose too low during the night. And when blood sugar drops, cortisol rises to bring it back up. So at 3 a.m., your liver releases glucose, cortisol spikes, and you wake up. This is why some people wake up and feel better after eating something, even a small snack, and suddenly feel sleepy again. That's not weakness, that's physiology. Another major factor is chronic stress during the day. Not dramatic stress, not panic attacks, but constant pressure, deadlines, overthinking, always being on, always responding, always pushing. Your nervous system doesn't reset the moment you lie down. If your day is filled with tension, your night will often reflect it. And then there's overtraining. Exercise is healthy, but only when it's balanced with recovery. If you're pushing your body hard, especially with intense cardio or fasted workouts, your cortisol may stay elevated longer than it should. Again, the body isn't wrong. It's responding to what it perceives as demand. There's also light exposure screens, bright lights at night, which suppress melatonin and confuse your circadian rhythm. And finally, there's something many people overlook: mental vigilance. Even when you're resting, your mind may still be scanning for problems, planning, replaying, anticipating. Your body listens to that. Now, I want to gently shift us from understanding to reassurance, because once you know what's happening, the fear usually softens. This is not a permanent state. Your nervous system is adaptable. Your hormones are responsive. Your sleep can be retrained. And no, you don't need extreme supplements or harsh routines. You need consistency, safety, and timing. One of the first things I often recommend is creating a sense of evening security for the body. That means not going to bed hungry. It means having a balanced evening meal that includes protein, healthy fats, and yes, some carbohydrates. Carbohydrates in the evening are not the enemy. For many people, they are the bridge to stable sleep. They help lower cortisol and support serotonin and melatonin production. Next, your body needs a clear signal that the day is over. Lower the lights, reduce stimulation, slow your breathing, not as a performance, but as a message. When you breathe slowly, deeply, and quietly, your nervous system hears, it's safe now, and safety is what allows sleep to deepen. I also want to say something very clearly here. If you wake up at 3 a.m., do not punish yourself with frustration. That stress only reinforces the cycle. Instead, gently reassure yourself, even silently saying, I'm okay, my body is adjusting, can help lower the stress response. Sometimes, paradoxically, sleep returns when we stop trying to force it. Now let's talk about belly fat again, because I know many of you are thinking about it. Fat loss is not just about calories, it's about hormonal permission. When cortisol normalizes at night, insulin sensitivity improves. When sleep deepens, growth hormone increases. When the nervous system feels safe, fat release becomes possible. This is why people often notice their waist shrinking after their sleep improves. Even without changing their diet, the body shifts from defense to repair, and that shift doesn't require perfection. It requires patience. If there's one thing I want you to take from this, it's this. Your body is not working against you. It's responding to the signals it's been given. And you can change those signals gently, steadily, compassionately. Before we finish, I want to speak to you not just as a doctor, but as a human being. Many people blame themselves for poor sleep. They think they're failing. But what I see again and again are people who have been strong for too long. People who carry responsibility quietly. People who don't always rest when they should. People whose bodies finally say, please slow down. Waking up at 3 a.m. is not a character flaw. It's a message, and messages can be answered. So tonight when you go to bed, I want you to do one thing differently. Instead of expecting sleep to happen, invite it, lower the lights, breathe slowly, eat enough, and speak kindly to your body. You don't need to fix everything at once. Small, calm changes, repeated consistently, reset rhythms more powerfully than force ever could. Your sleep can improve, your cortisol can normalize, your belly fat can respond, and most importantly, you can feel safe in your body again. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're listening to these signals, and I trust that your body knows how to heal when given the right conditions. We'll take this one step at a time.